Good evening and welcome to Realty Coffee Talk on Awaz Entertainment. My name is Tahir Qureshi. I'm a fellow of Real Estate Bureau of Canada, broker of record for City Pro Realty Inc. brokerage, and host of Realty Coffee Talk. Tonight's topic is, will the housing market crash in 2022? This is everybody's on mind. We used to have multiple bidding offers going on before the interest rate increases by the Bank of Canada. Things have reversed. As I have stated in my previous episode, the average price of the home has come down. And what are the elements that lead us to believe there's going to be a housing market crash, or isn't? I do not believe the housing market will crash in 2022. There are several reasons. First of the most was always shortage of housing. Prior to pandemic and during the pandemic, our CMHC and other predictions were we were always short of 45 to 50,000 housing across Canada. So supply was a problem, shortage from the day one before pandemic and during pandemic. During pandemic, because the interest rate was historically low, variable was 1% or 102, 103, 105%. So people buying power was very high. So they were able to get more money and qualify for more. And because affordability was an issue, they took big mortgages and they bought the property, and we have a bidding war. Demand of the housing was there. And now, since the Bank of Canada has increased the interest rate 4 times, most recently 1%. So what happened is that it has touched the pulse of the consumer, the buyer. They are in a shock. Not only they are buying it, the person who's buying it also the person who owns it as a seller, who owns it because their mortgage or line of credit, they're coming for renewals. Or someone who bought the house with a short-term loan to close the deal. Lots of people took first, second, and third mortgages to close the deal because they think they're going to be able to renegotiate the terms of the mortgage, particularly variable mortgage. If you got on a fixed rate, you're lucky. But right now, the 5-year fixed rate is 5.24, 5.25. And your prime is almost 4.7. Therefore, the cost of ownership is higher. You may have less transactions. Only problem that I see is that you will have more housing available. It becomes maybe seller's market rather than buyer's market, or buyer's markets, because seller who cannot afford it, they will be putting in the market the house for sale. Either you don't get the mortgage, you don't qualify, and you have no choice but to sell the property. You have choices that you can borrow money from your friends, family. If you still want to keep it, you can work with the family and become an equity owner. Even the friends, instead of losing a house, and you can buy them out after the things get better. Now, the federal government also banned new purchase for the foreign buyers. Ontario government also not banned, but they increased the condition and also 20% speculation tax for the foreign buyers. And some rules about keeping empty, some empty taxes, and other scenario. Federal government was also considering this blind bidding concept to change. So there are also many other issues that is also trying to slow down the real estate hot market. After the initial shock of most recently increased key borrowing rate by the Bank of Canada, people are absorbing it. And I believe in a month or so, they will get back and start buying again. Because shortage of housing continues to remain the problem. We have lots of immigrants that will be coming, over 400,000 people during this 2020, and we need housing. The government of Ontario has invested a lot of money, and they are supporting municipalities to hire more people in planning and development and building permit divisions so they can expedite the approval process. This is ongoing. And also they're encouraging builders. The issue again is that some of these builders where you have bought properties and units, the cost of construction has gone up. Because of that, some of these builders, high-rise builders, may terminate your agreement of purchase and sale. Because when you buy from the builder, there are always clauses there. Your deposit is protected, but they have the ability to cancel it if it's not possible for them to build it because cost of construction has increased. It all depends location by location, time. You remember a few months back, there was a construction workers on the strike. There always something is happening to change that. By doing this, it's going to delay the construction. By delaying the construction of subdivision or these condo units will continue to have the shortage. According to our TREB listing, a Market Watch report that I shared with you, there were lots of supply, excess supply. I'm going to share that with you again. We had in here, we have 42.5 new listing from last June to this June, according to TREB Market Watch. So that means more sellers are coming. It may become a buyer's market. Again, if you are a buyer, you have strategic plan, how to invest your money, whether you're buying for yourself as a prime residence or investment property. You have a strategic planning. You're working with a professional to help you to execute that properly. You may have an opportunity to buy. But remember that we talk about it. The prices of 21 are not the same in 2022. The trend, the increase was going on. You're still going to have increased prices. Prices are not going down. Sale is going down. The price prediction for this 2020 is positive, even by all the organized real estate. So there will be increase. I'm going to share with you, I have shared before with you the Korea data. There is a positive, still positive increase in Ontario. And therefore, there is no crash predicted. It's going to only slow down. People still need to buy the property, and the short of supply continue to remain a problem. yes, buyer will have chances. Now you have a strategy to bargain and push for the bargain. And this is how you're going to calculate. But it all depends on the seller. Would he or she will sell the house at the price you want? Does it make any sense to sell it if you don't get what you want? Sellers are always thinking about a strategy, working with their realtors, that how much they want to have for their home. And if it's properly estimated the value, market value, and you put on a listing, then you stick with it. If you have underlisted, you're not going to have a bidding war. If you have overlisted, nobody's going to buy your property. So you have to make sure it's reasonable and people will buy your property. You have done. Now, most important thing why I am just telling you it's not crash, not happen, is right now the Bank of Canada is trying to control inflation because buying goods, gasoline, food, clothes, everything is increasing. So because cost of transportation is increasing, cost of housing is increasing, cost of manufacturing is increasing, cost of building is increasing. So therefore, it's going to put up the cost on top of that. We're going to take a short break and then we'll come back to you on Realty Coffee. Welcome to Realty Coffee Talk on Awaz Entertainment. My name is Tahir Qureshi. We're talking about will the housing market crash in 2022. At the moment, I'm going to share with you the CREA, Canadian Real Estate Association prediction for 2022 and 2023, so you get an idea whether it's going to positive increase in prices or it's going to crash the housing. According to the CREA projection and forecast that's given to us, the Canada, in 2022, we're expecting Canada-wide 10.8% increase in average home price across Canada in 2022. Our increase for 21 to 22 was 21.3% from 20 to 21. Now they're predicting 10.8% increase in 2022, and they're forecasting in 2023, they're expecting an average increase price of 3.1. And so this is the data available on Canadian Real Estate Association website, CREA.ca. Now, if we look at the Ontario, they are saying is that we have 20 to 21, 23.6% increase in 2021 prices, average home prices. Now, in 2022, they are predicting 17.1% increase across Canada. And they're predicting for 2023 is 5.4%. So average price increases across Canada will be lowering from 23.6 21 and 17.1 in 2022 and 5.4 in 2023. So here is the institute that control MLS system. They have 155,000 members across Canada and Ontario state. All MLS data is managed by and controlled by Canadian Real Estate Association. They have the copyright and trademark. They are telling you is a positive growth. You do have a trend which I shared with you before that in TREB transaction, which is GTA and Ontario, I'm going to share with you again. Last time I reported that there was a trend since February was the highest average price increase in 2022, and since for 4 consecutive months, average price have declined. In February, it was $1,334,142. That's the highest in 2022 in February, and now in June is $1,146,254. That's a reduction of $187,888. So it is still reducing, but in June, in June last year, our average price was 1,088,991, and now we have a 1,146,254. So our average price has still higher, and yearly average price based on TREB 2021 data, we have 121,649 transactions, and the average price at the end of the year for the total transaction was 1,095,338. So even though we are going down in terms of average price, our average price for year to date is 1,257,257. So if you look at the average price, we are almost $200,000 more in June as compared to last year. We still have to wait for the 6 month data to figure out where we settle, because if we have more decline in July and before things start tapering off, we will continue to have this reduction in price now. So this is one of the reasons is that I'm telling you is that price is going down and reducing, but still you are positive. Prices are not going down. Sale went down 41% in June 22 as compared to 2021 June. But that is not the case. That's the reason that we're going to be crashing it. Because these people will finance and they will manage it. They will borrow money from the family, they borrow from the friend, or they refinance their mortgages. They're going to probably improve, take benefit and opportunity of this time not to sell the property and improve it, borrow money on a line of credit or some money to improve the house. Because when you are renovating the property, depending on what you're doing, a good house, detached home, could cost you $300,000, $400,000 improvement for a detached home. But about 2,200, 2,500 square feet home, a nice update, overall update, will cost you $300,000. You might borrow it and you work on it. It will take renovation business and improvement about 6 to 9 months or maybe even a year. Or you borrow money and then you use it as and when you need it. Change the appliances, change the hardware floor, change the knobs, washer and dryer, and flooring, porcelain tile, roofing. Maybe gardening is very, very important because landscaping will give you a good impression of the house when you are exposing your property to the future buyers. Your driveway needs to be fixed. If you have an interlock or you do a nice job, change the garage doors, put a remote control or whatever improvement you can make. And there could be potential is there could be some energy efficiency loan available or grants maybe from the government. You can ask these contractors. They come to you, replace your air conditioner, replace your windows and door. If there are any incentive program where you can get some rebate. These are things that are important because you don't want to sell a house at the time where you're not able to get the maximum price that you want. But I can tell you, this initial shock of this price change, people will get to it, and they get used to it, and they move on. Even though the interest rate has jumped recently because we are so accustomed to, I remember when I came to Canada in 1990, the mortgage rate was over 12% when I bought my first house. So for me, it's not a big change. If we just accustomed to a cheap financing, and that has triggered the debt for the Canadian. Every Canadian that is earning $1, he or she owe $1.85 or 86 cents. So that kind of debt that we are carrying, we're not earning enough to pay off our debt. And that's the concern. And now inflation that is really gone up, and they're trying to control that, and they put these measures. But at the end of the day, your real estate will not crash in 2022, because I'm hoping that the Bank of Canada may not increase further interest rate, because that definitely going to hit the pocket of the Canadian. One out of four Canadian will have a challenge if there is more increase coming under the current prevailing condition. Majority of us have bought properties. They got the financing. Some did temporary financing. Somebody just, I love this house. They went with a passion and emotion. They bought the house, and they have to get the new mortgage within 6 months, 1 year. They borrow money, or they took a second mortgage and paid 10, 12%, broker fee, blah, blah, blah. These all are elements that upset your budget. And if you are on a variable mortgage, it is not going to be good. So you have to really think about it. This crash is not going to happen to all. But for the person who's in financial trouble, it is no less than a crash, because you can't afford to live in your own house. Would you not call it a crash? Because you can't afford it anymore. You never thought the interest rate will go up so significantly in a short period of time that you end up selling the house. You still have to rent it. Look at the rental. Sky high rental. People can't afford it, and it's being shifted toward rental market. And the rental market is high. Also, both important for you is also to look at those people who have bought so many condo units from the high-rise builders. Unless they're closing a long period of time, some of the builders are deciding that they may not complete. They cannot afford to complete the project. They might also terminate those agreement of purchase and sale, because cost of construction may have gone up 30 to 35, 40%. It all depends on location, type of construction, and there are challenges. Even though government has a protection for you to get your deposit back, but if you have waited for a couple of years, you might have a different position. So this is why it's very important that you consult with your lawyer. If you get a notice that your contract is terminated, you make sure you get your lawyer involved and get a guidance, legal counsel, to make sure your issues are resolved. This is important. Now, interest rate, this rate will go down when inflation will come down. The government of Canada Bank of Canada predict that it may be toward 2023 and last quarter or 2024, they expect the inflation to go back to 2%. That's what they want to go. And by doing that, they might hike 1 or 2 more times. There are 2 or 3 meetings scheduled in October, November, December. And they might discuss that. They will evaluate and decide. It may not be very significant, but it will have a major impact on people, home ownership. Are they discouraging the home ownership by doing what they're doing it? I always said in the past, the government have given up so much money. Imagine those corporations, they borrowed money from CRA. The government gave them loan. Even though they give them incentive to return, they give 40,000, they say, okay, if you return 30,000, you're forgiven at 10,000. Imagine how many of those who borrowed the money and they have to pay back. And what would happen if they don't pay back? The government will start charging them interest rate. So they're all interlinked with the economy, how our economy is producing, because their demand is high, supply is short. So therefore, everything in demand is needed and will be paying more money for it. So is the real estate. You will see in next quarter, the sales start climbing up again because the shock of this 1% increase that was given by Bank of Canada will evaporate. People still need to buy a house. They need to provide shelter to the family. And historically, it's a mind's game. We know now that average now 5-year fix is going to be over 5%. So we're going to prepare ourselves, and if the prices don't go up significantly and all those production, construction that were going on continues that, we will have more choices available to the consumer to buy the property. Therefore, there will be no shortage. There will be no crash. But crash is for those who cannot afford existing home they bought, because some of you guys have bought the property at a peak rate where your property has declined significantly. Some property has declined $300,000, $400,000, and $500,000, depending on the size and value of the property. Those are living with this in mind, how long they're going to continue, and if they also have variable mortgage, then it's going to triple their problem. But I do not believe, based on Korea data line, based on the TREB report, I don't see any negative report that gives a data that there will be a crash in 2022 in real estate. You are watching Realty Coffee Talk on Awaz Entertainment in Canada, around the world. Thank you for watching. If you wish to advertise on Awaz Entertainment, please call 416-786-9809. Ask for Ms. Jabin. She will give you a special because you are a viewer of Realty Coffee Talk on Awaz Entertainment. Thank you for watching. We shall see you 7 p.m. next Thursday at 7 p.m. on Awaz Entertainment in Canada, around the world. Thank you. Bye for now.